My name is Kartal and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Samas and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the last ball drops. And I think my t-shirt saying drama is probably very appropriate for what we just experienced. And to guide us through it, I've got Carson with me. Carson, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Nick. How are you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. Doing well. Right, I think no time like the present. We gotta react to that centre court match that we just witnessed between Arina Sabalenka and Emma Raducanu. Sabalenka winning 7-6, 6-4 in a match that captivated British audience for sure. The question is, Carson, did it have anything to captivate you as an American with no stakes in the outcome?
Absolutely. I mean, it was a fantastic match, very back and forth. Both of them had opportunities throughout both sets, especially the first set, to put it away a little bit earlier than it happened. So I think both of them will feel like they had opportunities to win this match. Emma played very well today up until the last few games of this second set. First set was very tight, and then second set was up 2-4, and at 4-1 had break points to get a double break and go ahead. Just couldn't convert and just kind of fell apart from there, unfortunately, for her.
Yeah, I just think Sabalenka just raised the intensity in that match. Something I noticed was that I think she started reining in the margins and going, okay, Emma, you've been getting everything back. Get this back. How about this? How about this? How about this? And I do think the intensity did get a little, like at the end of the day, she coped with the intensity a lot better. She dealt with the crowd really well, I thought. But yeah, overall, I think I agree with you. Emma Raducanu acquitted herself really, really well. I was a little bit gutted for her that she didn't win a set, because that's kind of that step that we're waiting for, is can she win a set against the likes of a Sabalenka, a Swiatek, or a Goff? Because those are the standard setters right now. But this is but it's a step closer once again. And Sabalenka said very nicely that she thought she'd be back in the top 10 if she keeps going like this, which I thought was very generous, but certainly maybe trying to win the crowd over a little bit back to her after beating Emma. But definitely positives to take for Emma Raducanu in this one.
Very much so. And I mean, top 10. I think I agree with you. Might be a little bit generous at the moment. Perhaps she can get there again. But Sabalenka, just I think a great mental performance from her, not letting the crowd get to her as much as she has in some other occasions where she's been playing a home favorite. Just stayed mentally locked in, especially in the middle of that second set. Just didn't let it get away from her, kept hitting balls back, and we see her win the final 4 games of this match.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about Sabalenka for a minute before we kind of talk about the next round. But I just want to look at a bit bigger picture here, what this means. There's been a lot of discussions about how Sabalenka's draw has kind of really opened up for her, especially with some of the results we've had today, which we'll go through. And heavy favourite to make semis, probably even the final. Let's be honest, the next highest seed in her half is Amanda Anisimova, who's the 13th seed. But I do think that she's got to the second week relatively battle-hardened. Boskova pushed her. Raducanu pushed her even more. I don't think she's she's going to feel like she's had a soft draw up to this point.
No, it hasn't been particularly easy. Even the second set against was it Carson Bernstein in the first round match was not particularly an easy walk in the park. I think that was 7-5 in the second set, so that one went a little bit longer, and then a couple of more difficult matches. So yeah, it hasn't been necessarily easy, but I mean the draw certainly has opened up for her. There's a great opportunity for her to make a very deep run into this tournament, and I mean she is the highest seeded player. She will be favored in every match that she steps onto the court right now. But yeah, it is maybe a little bit difficult to see who's the one individual that can stop her at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few candidates, but they are in the second half of the draw. Raducanu being the prime candidate. Let's see how she gets against Clara Towson tomorrow. But the other player, I'd say that like the biggest threat to her in this half of the draw is probably Amanda Anisimova, who she has a bit of a weird head-to-head with. So I see. I think you can if you look for it, but certainly right now, I do think that a lot of people are now hoping that it's going to be a Sabalenka-Raducanu final, because that would be probably the most competitive match we will see. Maybe I'm wrong, but that seems to be the vibe I'm getting at the moment. But yeah, good result from Sabalenka today against Raducanu. And I think also she did well to kind of turn that around, because I did worry that second set was going to get away from her, a bit like how the second set the French got away from her. And that definitely, she managed to reverse that very quickly. Her next match, well, we'll talk about her next match in a minute, but let's talk about the opponent first. It's not Elina Svitolina, it's Elise Mertens. Carson, talk to me. How surprised by this are you? Did you catch this match?
Saw a little bit of it. Going into it, I thought that Svitolina was going to be able to pull this one out. She's been playing well this week, so didn't really see this one, especially that first set, coming in this way, I suppose. She was just spraying balls all over the court. Couldn't really just get shots in. I think she had 30 unforced errors, 5 double faults as well. So just spraying the ball a little bit. And I mean, Elise Mertens, not an easy opponent at all in Grand Slams. She's got a history of getting here into the weekend and playing well against seeded players leading up to this point. So it was a really good win for her. She definitely deserved to win this one. But I was a little bit surprised at how it happened.
Yeah, it was very much a tale of two sets, because, yeah, it was Svitolina, you're right, wasn't her best during the first set. There were a lot of wild errors. She was really struggling to generate pace off the no pace that Mertens was giving her. And then in the second set, she upped it, and Mertens started counterpunching like she does, like she can. And it ended up being a battle of two counterpunchers doing very well against each other. And at the end of the day, I think what happened was it went down, like Svitolina could, maybe even should have won the second set, but Mertens just kept up with her and then was just a lot more clutch in the tiebreak, came up with some really good serves when she needed them, and turned things around to kind of see how they're going. So I agree with you that Svitolina maybe gave her an in with that first set, but make no mistake, Mertens held her off in the second. And I think she'll be very happy with that performance to get her into the Wimbledon third round for, I believe, the third time. The fourth round for the third time, which, that was a good result for Mertens. She's going to have it tough against Sabalenka, though. Carson, talk to me about where you are at with where you see this match kind of going.
I mean, the head-to-head is not particularly good for Mertens. It's 10-2 in between these players. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Sabalenka has won the last 7 or 8 matches now in a row in this head-to-head. So it's it's a bit brutal at the moment for her. Sabalenka's just able to out hit her. She's one of those players that you mentioned it in this match. Mertens wasn't necessarily giving Svitolina a lot of pace. Sabalenka is one of those players that doesn't necessarily need you to give her a lot of pace in order to do some dangerous things with the ball. So yeah, I think it's hard to see it going a different way than it has over the last few matchups. I mean, Sabalenka would probably choose this matchup if she had to pick in between the two. I just think it's, of course, hindsight could be 20/20. In 48 hours, anything can happen. This is tennis, but to me, it feels like this could be a fairly straightforward match for Sabalenka.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's where we are kind of headed, and we see this with head-to-heads as well. I mean, like, how many times, like, you've got the top players who've over the years have had really lopsided head-to-heads with players like David Ferrer or Andre Rublev or Gael Monfils on the men's side, like with the big three or with Alcaraz and Sinner. So I do agree with you. I think we're seeing something similar here with the WTA and Sabalenka and Mertens. Maybe Mertens can frustrate Sabalenka by making her play one more ball, because to Nerland's comment about Raducanu, he does pick up on something that I think is Sabalenka's key weakness, is that she doesn't like having to play one more ball, that extra ball, and getting it back. I do think she struggled a little bit with players with a stronger defense. It's interesting. You've got this almost simple weakness in a player, a bit like with Swiatek, and not giving her time on the forehand. So I think that's the one thing that Mertens has got going for her, but I think Sabalenka won't mind the lower pace on grass. I think she's going to be feeling pretty confident at the moment. Hard to see anything other than a straight sets win for Aryna Sabalenka in that fourth round. Okay. By the way, for those of you who may be joining us at this point, we have already covered Sabalenka Raducanu, but you can go back to the beginning of the stream and hear our thoughts on that match, which I think was definitely the most hyped match of the day, and it lived up to it. But we're going to move on to other matches in the women's draw, and we're not necessarily going to work our way down in chronological order, because I want to do the bigger story first. Alluded to this earlier by saying Sabalenka's draw has opened up, because my title pick and a few others, Madison Keys, is out after struggling to generate pace against Laura Siegemund. Carson, did you see this? What were your thoughts on this?
I'm going to be honest. I still don't entirely know what I think about this or what I saw in this matchup. Like, didn't see this one coming at all. Yeah, but just struggling really to get anything on the ball in a match that, I mean, you would look at on paper and think that Keys should just be able to out-hit this person and blow them off of the court. Did not happen today. So I was very surprised by this, but I mean, credit to Siegemund. She played well, just kept getting balls back into the court. And yeah, that's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah, it is. I think what I found interesting about this match was Siegemund just stopped everything dead, and Keys was just overhitting it completely. I've seen a lot of people saying, particularly in the Elena Rybakina fandom mainly, but I do think it's a reasonable point, saying, well, actually, Rybakina struggled against Siegemund. I think it might have been last year's Wimbledon. Went 3 sets with her. Like, she can do this to players who hit with a lot of pace. Clearly, Maddie was not in the headspace to kind of deal with it. I thought maybe she'd pull off some kind of comeback, because she got to 2-5. Was it like 2-5 or 3-5 40 love 40 on her serve, and then she just plays unbelievable for the rest of the game, gets 30 all on Siegemund's serve, and I'm like, oh, we're back on. We could be back on here, and this is going to be an incredible comeback, and it kind of normal service resumed in that game. Siegemund, using a lot of craft, and like she didn't just stop everything dead. She then mixed it in with like some bigger shots of her own every now and again to catch Keys out. But yeah, Madison Keys was scrambled, and yeah, definitely her weakest performance in a slam this year. We've only had 3, so fair enough. But yeah, Siegemund is now through, which is great to her. First time in the Wimbledon 4th round, and she's going to be feeling pretty confident about making a second career Grand Slam quarter-final after making her own Garth one in 2020, because she's playing Solana Sierra in round 3, the lucky loser who beat Katie Bolter and then followed it up with another strange match against Christina Buxer. I wasn't paying close attention to it. I did have it on in the background. Did you catch any of it, Carson? I think we did a live stream of it earlier today.
Yeah, I caught the 3rd set of this one, which was a little bit one-sided. Sierra was just getting a lot of balls in, and Christina Buxer was not in that set. So not the highest quality set, unfortunately. But yeah, Sierra's had an incredible tournament so far, beating Olivia Gadecki in round 1, and then Katie Bolter in round 2. It's always a difficult matchup in Wimbledon. Anytime you're playing a UK player at home, it's not easy. But yeah, she's been doing well. So I don't know a ton about her outside of this tournament so far. So it is good to see some of these players just bursting through onto the scene in these bigger tournaments, though.
There's someone on the team who's kind of been keeping an eye on her and her progress for a while. I don't know if it might be Mario or it might be Brenner. Not sure which. Could be neither of them. With this one, great run for her. She's like the ultimate underdog that's come through at this point. It was 3 very different sets against Buxer. First set was a mess. It was just like a break fest until Sierra finally got over the line. Second set, Sierra went off the boil, had her hands seen too because she'd hurt it from smacking her racket. And then the third set, that was the one I didn't really pay attention to. So you covered that. And it kind of completely flipped. So strange match. I suspect that this 4th round is also going to be fairly messy. Carson, what do you think?
I think it could be. You've got Sierra, who's still a pretty young player, just breaking into the top 100 here very recently. So a lucky loser. I don't think we mentioned that yet, but lost in the final round of qualifying, and then to get to this point, lucky loser. And then, Siegemund, a little bit of a wild card on a day-to-day basis. You don't really know exactly what she's going to be bringing out onto the court. So, yeah, who knows? I'm kind of expecting a match that goes 3 sets. Could be tight.
Yeah, it could very well be tight. It's probably going to be messy. I wonder if Lara Siegemund's experience will win through on this one. I think a lot of people will be rooting for Solana Sierra to make it as the biggest story, but I do think that Lara Siegemund probably is going to do it. I think that experience will win through for that, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting, and then obviously she'll play either Sabalenka or Mertens, most likely Sabalenka, and that'll be. I find it difficult to believe that Sabalenka's going to deal with Siegemund's tactics. She's going to deal with them pretty well, I would think, in that quarterfinal. We'll get there when we get there. We'll make our way a bit further on through the women's draw. Let's go to this section where we'll have 2 seeds playing each other in the 4th round, but let's break it down. 2 probably more interesting matches in terms of a quality perspective. Linda Noskova beating Kamila Rakhimova in a very tight match. That one was kind of back and forth for 2 sets, and it was a narrow victory in both for Noskova from what I saw. But she'll be pleased to still be in the tournament and within a reasonable shot of making the semi-finals. I know she was Mertatunga's pick to make it. I think she's still in a very good position. She seems to like it on the grass at the moment. Carson, did you see this match and any thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was a very back and forth match. First set tiebreak was a little bit crazy. Noskova up 6-love at one point, and then almost threw the entire thing away. So you can, it's a little bit small on the screen, but you can see that Rakhimova ended up with 6 points in that set. So a little bit messy there to get.
I do wonder whether there was sun at one end of the court during that tiebreak or something like that, because that's the only explanation I could think of for why it was so one-sided when you change ends like that.
Sorry, I didn't really catch that, but
so like if because it was 6 points for Noskova, change ends 6 points for Rakhimova, change end 2 points for Noskova. Yep. I did wonder whether there at that particular point there was sun on one side of the court that was kind of bothering the player who was facing it.
Sun was out, certainly, but I mean they're playing an entire set of tennis up to that point. That's back and forth. So I mean, can maybe say that's a bit of an excuse for them, but like also you've been playing for an hour at that point already, so I feel like you should be used to this at that point. But I mean, very back and forth, and then second set also back and forth. Noskova ends up getting a break very late in that set and pulls this one out. But yeah, it was like everything that is great about her game and everything that is not as great about her game right now. You could see that on display in this match, just lots of power hitting and then also just moments of inconsistency as well.
Yeah, which you would expect from two power hitters, let's be honest. I think Rakhimova's acquitted herself well. I definitely think she's shown that win over Pavlyuchenkova wasn't a fluke. And I'm interested to see what her progress is going to be like after this tournament, whether this is a one and done or whether this is like an opportunity for her to kind of move up. Because I think she's a very exciting player, Rakhimova, having seen her now this Wimbledon. Noskova said clearly very relieved to make it through in such a tight match. She'll play Amanda Anisimova next. Anisimova coming through another really odd match with Galfi, who did everything she could to make this a fight, make it a scrap. And Anisimova, but to me, it felt like when Anisimova got going, she was the better player, but she just never really got going for more than a brief patch. Did you see this, Carson, and would you agree with that assessment?
I would agree with that assessment. There were moments, end of the first set, middle of the third set onwards, where it was a bit more straightforward. But other than that, it was kind of like the typical Anisimova show in the middle, where it just like streaky at times, backhand, like just drops a level for a little bit, and just, I mean, Galfi played very well today as well. Like, not to take anything away from her, like she did well, and
she really did. She really worked out how to scramble Anisimova and jam her up in places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so credit to her as well. As I'm saying this, she did well, and it was tight. She did well to win that second set. That was close all of the way through, pretty much, and then third set. Once you go down a break in a third set against one of these top players, like it can be hard to regroup and get that break back, and she just wasn't able to today. But credit her. It's a good run for her in this tournament, and I'm excited to see Anisimova move on. And I mean, this will be a big matchup coming up against Noskova. Certainly, whoever wins that is probably the favorite to make the semifinal.
I would agree. I was going to start the preview off by saying that, Carson, so you beat me to it. So, that's a big match right there. The favourite for the semi-final, the battle to be the last remaining seeded player in that quarter. They are definitely the ones who've survived the bloodbath so far, and now they face against each other. And I think, again, if you're a fan of the sort of tennis that we saw between Rakhimova and Noskova, then you're going to see more of that. So, Carson, talk to me. How do you see this fourth round match between Noskova and Anisimova going?
I think this one's maybe a little bit tougher to read, just because both players can show up to the court in different ways. Like some Some matches they're just on. It's just very straightforward. They're just going to bash the ball all over the court and just put away opponent easily. That's tough when you've got two people that are just going to try to hit every ball at 100 miles per hour against each other. I think Anisimova's experience is going to give her a little bit of edge here. This is just Noskova's second time in the fourth round of a Grand Slam after her Australian Open 2024 run. And then, yeah, Amanda's got a couple of big titles in 1000s in the last 12 months. So she's got experience. I think just a little bit more experience. And yeah, it's really going to come down to which version of her backhand that we get. If it's the top level, like, it's hard for anyone to beat her, frankly, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. Like, at the moment, Amanda Anisimova does seem to have the highest ceiling. She's definitely, she's looking set to potentially break top 10 at the end of this tournament. She's definitely got the, she had the favorite tag around her for this section ever since we lost Pegula and Zheng. From here, was it Zheng who went out of the section? Maybe I've got that the wrong one.
Yeah, she was in this one.
Yes. So no, it wasn't. Anyway, no, that's the wrong one. Pegula and Zheng were
Paulini, I think is
Paulini. Yeah, Paulini went out, and whoever the other person was in this section. Yeah, because Rakhimova beat Paulini. What am I talking about? So. Yeah, and then it was Paulini and Zheng. So got there in the end. With this one, I think yes. And then Anisimova's looked like the favourite coming through, and probably has the better pre-tournament form. Here's the thing that's making me think it might be Linda Noskova, and that is those dips we've been talking about with Amanda Anisimova coming into this. Like, I think she's the one who's more likely to go off the boil. And I think the player who stays the most consistent is going to be the one who wins. And right now, based on what we've seen this tournament, particularly in the third round, I trust Noskova to be the slightly more consistent one. So that's why I'm going to go with her. But I can see what you would say. Like, if we get consistent Anisimova, she has the higher peak, she'd win it.
Yeah, I see this one going 3. Like, I think, I don't know, it's hard for me to see a world where either of them are consistent enough for long enough for it to just be a 2-set match. Just with the style that they play, it's very easy to, like, that drop off from being at your peak level to 90% of that. When they're hitting the ball as hard as they are, like, that's quite a steep drop off, and gives a decent amount of time for your opponent when they are also hitting the ball really hard to have an extra 1/10 of a second on some points to get a ball back with a lot of pace. So I think this one is going to go 3. Hopefully going to be pretty tight. I'm looking forward to watching this in a couple of days, though.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the ones that's worth following for this one. Like, I think that's I would say, of the women's fourth round matches we've got, regardless of any bias in this half of the draw, regardless of any bias you might have, because I would imagine that the Brits are going to be excited for the one we're about to talk about. Then fair enough. But I'm just thinking that this one will probably be the closest one, I think, from the neutrals' perspective and the purist tennis fans' perspective. This is the one that's going to be circled as best women's match of the day, or has the highest potential for it. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, I agree with that. It should be a really good match, so I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Awesome. Okay, next section. Right, last section of the women's before we move on to the men's, and we'll do this in order again, like in terms of like top to bottom, because I think it'll be funny to finish how the day started, more or less. But yeah, Sonai Kartal beats Diane Parry and makes it into the 4th round of Wimbledon and is the last British woman standing in the draw, and now has set herself up potentially to become British #1 if she wins her next match. But let's focus on the match that she won today against Diane Parry, which, I mean, I just feel like my summary of Kartal's performance is wow, but that might come across as British bias. So, Carson, save us here. Let's bring some impartiality here, and I'm going to let you do the bulk of the analysis for this one on this Kartal win over Parry.
Honestly, wow is not a bad way to put it. Like, she played very well today. She's been playing well all tournament, and has just dropped 1 set so far to Ostapenko in the first round of this. So, she's been playing fantastically this match. It's just one where she was able to get into the driver's seat early on and just never really let Parry get into this match at all. Parry came through qualifying, so played. This would have been her 6th match in the last week, apparently. So she's played a bit of tennis up to this point, so spent a lot of time on court. Not sure that I necessarily saw that affected her at all. She looked fine out there. To me, it wasn't necessarily like tired from what I saw, but that's a lot of tennis. And Kartal, maybe the little more fresh player of the two of them in this matchup, and played very well today.
She did. I do think it was a weird match to start with, because he started off with these really scrappy, close first couple of games, and then Parry looks like she's motoring, and then Kartal completely flips the script and plays amazing for she won 5 in a row, and won another 4, so 9 games in a row, and then kind of was in cruise control from that point. But I did feel like she couldn't do anything wrong for those 9 games. She wasn't missing. She was finding ways to hit winners. She was serving great. And Parry didn't know what to do after she started so well, and then it just sort of immediately got away from her really, really quickly. And I do think that Kartal's got this massive confidence boost from beating Ostapenko and is really thriving on being the crowd favourite and the centre of attention in a way that some Brits aren't. Kartal gets through against Parry today. I do think she will have potentially her toughest test in her next match, but one to savour and a Brit for the Wimbledon crowds to enjoy on the Sunday. Probably getting a centre court billing, I would imagine.
I would be shocked if they didn't put her on centre court. I mean, of the matchups, it's not the highest ranked opponents or anything, but I'd be very surprised if they didn't let her get center stage in this one.
Yeah, because I would think, well, there are other options. Alcaraz is getting centre court, no question, because of who he's playing, and it's Alcaraz. Sabalenka will probably get it, and then it's a question of whether they're going to pick Kartal or Taylor Fritz, basically.
Yeah.
I would lean towards Sanai Kartal.
I mean, it might, if those are your two options, and as an American, this is no offense to Taylor Fritz, but it might be malpractice to not pick Kartal in that position. There haven't been many. I don't know if they have had 2 women's matches on center court.
Hang on. No, Norrie's playing as well. It might be Norrie.
Yeah, Norrie's playing Nico Jarry.
Yeah, so Norrie will be playing as well that day. So unless they go with Alcaraz and 2 Brits, and they put Sabalenka on court 1 with Fritz and someone else.
I'm not maybe Khachanov.
Yeah, I think they might do Noskova and Anisimova, because that's an all-seed clash, and there's no other all-seed clashes.
That's right. Yeah, there wouldn't be.
And I know they tend to like doing 2 men's and 1 women's on one court and 2 women's and 1 men's on another.
That would be interesting, because Norrie might request court 1 though, because he likes it there a lot.
I guess it's on a Sunday, isn't it? And it's going to be prime time. So I guess who knows? Like, we'll figure it out. But I'd say the 5 matches that are of centre court are going to be the 2 Brits, Alcaraz, and then whether they want to include Fritz or Sabalenka, and then I think Noskova and Anisimova will end up on court 1, regardless. We're on a bit of a tangent here. Wimbledon scheduling is probably easy to work out compared to other slam scheduling, to be honest. Probably not as easy as the French because we know what decisions they make with the night session.
We know exactly what we're going to do every single night.
Anyway, let's talk about. I'm going to say this. It might be controversial. I think this might have been the best women's match of the day, purely because it went to a final set. Like, it was Sabalenka and Raducanu had probably the best drama and like intensity, but in terms of 3-setter that was pretty good from start to finish and would outcome in doubt right to the end, which is what you want from a good match. Pavlyuchenkova beating Naomi Osaka fits that bill for me. Real back and forth, great rallies on display in that one. I really enjoyed it. Did you, Carson?
I loved watching this match. I love watching both of them play very even throughout the entire match. It never felt like anyone was pulling away from the other one in any significant way that was going to determine the match over the course of 5 minutes or so. It was in doubt right up to the end, as you said. Just a really good match. And I mean, Pavlyuchenkova, credit to her, pulls it out in the 3rd set, 6-4 to win this. And is this her 2nd Wimbledon 4th round now?
It is, yes. The last time she made the 4th round, she made the quarterfinals, which I think was 2011. Is that right? Or was that maybe a bit sooner than that? Maybe it was
20.
I think it was the early
sounds right off the top of my head.
I think it was the early 2010s. Maybe we should look this one up just to be sure. But yeah, good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was early 2010s, which, I mean, she's been such a good player for so long. Like, absolutely insane. Just the longevity that she's had and the quality throughout that entire time as well. But there's never really been a massive dip in her level.
Yeah, I mean, she made the quarterfinals of the Australian this year. So she's definitely still... She's one of those consistent players throughout her whole career and a consistent force on the tour. Has always been a consistent force on the tour. It was 2016 she made the quarterfinals of Wimbledon. Checking on my phone. And yeah, I think Pavlyuchenkova is someone that like deserves a lot of respect for her achievements, as does Naomi Osaka, who was a 4-time Grand Slam champion. 3rd appearance in Wimbledon, 3rd round, still couldn't get through today. Where are you at with, like, I think there were a few of us who weren't necessarily hyping her to win this match. I did think that Pavlyuchenkova was going to be quite a tricky opponent, especially since it's the kind of opponent Osaka's been hitting kind of a wall with recently. And we kind of saw that again today. I think we should just let Naomi kind of get on with it. And certainly given her recent comments, she'd like that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, she's a borderline top 50 player who made the round of 32 here. Like, this isn't, just by those metrics, it's not a terrible result. Certainly there's more context to that. She is a 4-time slam champion, a former number 1. She's definitely got higher expectations of herself than the level that she's playing at right now. So yeah, I mean, tough result for her because this one was very close to her the entire match. A couple of balls go a different direction and points finish a different way, and she's into a 4th round here against Kartal, and honestly probably likes her own chances in that match.
Yeah.
Well, and then, like, how much
we have to then the stats we ruled out that Osaka always wins a Grand Slam when she gets past the fourth round.
Yep. Which, I mean, it would be quite a difficult road here. Like, even if she did get to that point, Noskova or Anisimova, likely Sabalenka, just to get to the final. So I don't know. And then, I mean, the press conference afterwards, it's how much of it is heat of the moment. You're just coming off quite a tight match that's tough to lose, and I don't know. It still feels like there's some level of pressure that's still getting to her a little bit. Just like something's, I don't know her at all. I'm not like her mental coach or anything, but it does seem like something mentally is still holding her back just a little bit.
Yeah, something. It's just something is not helping her unlock her level at the moment, but nobody knows what it is. She doesn't know what it is. Let's see if she figures it out, because that would be a really good story for tennis if she does. We've just had a bit of an influx of viewers, so if you're here to hear us talk about Sabalenka beating Raducanu and Madison Keys going out, we have already discussed those at the beginning of the stream. Our kind of initial reactions after that epic win for Sabalenka. I say epic, that exciting win for Sabalenka. And we've given our thoughts on it. Bottom line, solid performance from Raducanu. Sabalenka did a very good job of making it harder for her. Maybe the intensity dropped a bit from Emma at the end. That's kind of the summary. But go back and hear our full sort of breakdown at the end of the stream. But you are here in time for us to move on to the men's draw, if that's okay with you. Oh, wait, hang on. No, we can't do that. Before we move on to the men's draw, Carson, how do you see Kartal versus Pavlyuchenkova going?
We didn't actually preview this. It's tough to pick against someone like Pavlyuchenkova when they've got so much experience, just really strategic energy that she can put into a match. Just picking her spots, knowing when to go for it, when to let a ball go. So, but then you go up against Kartal, who's going to be the home favorite. I think it's going to be another tight match. I feel like we've got a lot of tight matches here. So I do feel like, though, like Kartal's been playing so well lately, not just in this tournament, but she's had a decent run throughout this entire season. So I think I'm hesitantly going to pick her to come through this one, but I think it's going to be close.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was not expecting you to say that. Like, I'm loving the optimistic result for the Brit coming from the American on this show. Especially since I'm going the opposite, because I think Pavlyuchenkova is going to win it. And I think it's going to be 2 close sets. I think Kartal has had a good run. I think she'll make a decent fight of it. I think Pavlyuchenkova has got maybe a little bit more in her arsenal and a little bit more experience, and that will tell when we get to the match. And so I am going to be the pessimistic home fan, and I'm going to say this is where Kartal's road ends and Pavlyuchenkova wins. But the fact that we've both gone different ways suggests this will probably be a close match, which is probably the most exciting thing. And who knows, Pavlyuchenkova may not deal well with the British crowd being very against her in that match, because they're going to want to see Kartal make quarters.
I mean, we've seen a lot of players, I think, that haven't necessarily been handling these crowds on center court and court one the best. So, this match will be on one of those 2 courts for sure. So definitely going to be interesting, I think, to see how she handles that pressure as well.
All right, now we move on to the men's draw. And I think we'll start at the top and work our way down again. especially since these guys started the day. So we're kind of doing the reverse of the women's, where we started at the end of the day and worked backwards. We'll start at the beginning of the day for the guys-ish, because one of these guys did, I'd say one of these guys did open centre court, and the other one kind of finished his match sort of towards the evening. So, let's talk about this for the results. So, Taylor Fritz wins a very entertaining match against Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. Could have done it in straights, which would have been an entertaining straight sets match. Davidovich Fokina made a fight of it, and then he made an even more of a fight of it in the third set. But I was impressed by the way Taylor Fritz locked down and basically decided that he had enough and just steamrolled through the fourth. And he seems locked in this grass court season. What were your thoughts on this result, Carson?
Yeah, it was good to see him win a match in fewer than 5 sets, which hasn't happened this week so far. So good for him to lock down this fourth set. I was definitely a little bit nervous after he had the chance to serve to close out this match in 3 sets. He was up 5-3 and then got broken. Lost the tiebreak eventually in that set, but fourth set, just a very straightforward set of tennis from him. Everything that's great about Taylor Fritz on grass was on full display in that set. So really nice win for him. Davidovich Fokina, not an easy opponent at all. So they played each other a couple of times before, so a little bit of familiarity with each other's games. But yeah, very good of him to get this done in 4 sets.
Yeah, definitely very, very good result for Fritz. He'll be happy with that, and he'll probably be happy that his draw's opening up a bit because although he's still got a decent grass court player ahead of him in Jordan Thompson, who, I'm surprised hasn't made the 4th round of Wimbledon before now, but I'm glad he has. He gets through Luciano Darderi in 4 sets. Darderi, I think, made it relatively tough in those 4 sets for him, but I wasn't paying super close attention, but it did look like that Thompson has just a little bit more on him during that match. Obviously, he won, but thoughts on that result?
Good to see Jordan Thompson get to the 4th round. First time here, as you said, which, I was surprised when I saw that earlier, that he hadn't done this before, because I think of him as someone whose game should translate to grass pretty well. So this is going to be an entertaining match. Both of these two have played a good amount of tennis so far this week, so I'm sure we'll get at least 4 sets in this one. I think it's going to be a very fascinating matchup between these two players who are good on grass.
Yeah, I guess the question is one of them better on grass? And I think I know the answer to this. The question is, do we have the same answer, Carson?
I think so, and I mean, maybe a little bit of my bias here, but I think Fritz is a step ahead of a lot of players on grass right now. This entire grass court season has been very strong to him. Title in a couple of titles, so, and then a nice run here, and there was a quarterfinals last year where he fell to Lorenzo Musetti, tough one. So he's played well here before. I think Fritz is going to come out in this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you think Jordan Thompson gets a set?
I think he'll get a set. Fritz, as we've kind of seen throughout this tournament, he's prone to momentary lapses where the opponent is able to take advantage. So I think it's probably fair to expect one of those. And Jordan Thompson is good enough to take advantage of that. Pull out a set here. Another very good grass court player. So I think it'll go at least 4. Maybe 5. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, it's Fritz, and he seems to like taking as long as he can. And I reckon that, although I do think that he might be locking in now, certainly judging by that last set against ADF. So I do think it might be 3 close sets for Fritz to get through, maybe 1 break per set. We've got Fritz. I think Fritz is now the heavy favourite, not just to make the quarterfinals, but make the semi-finals. especially when you look at the section kind of below. Speaking of people who do seem to be just loving 5-setters, Khachanov just came from 2-1 down again and had to come from, serving just like breaking Borges when he was serving for the match, and then things tightened up a little bit in that deciding set tiebreak after he got a big lead, but gets over the line 10-8. Khachanov's had a bit of a roller coaster tournament, hasn't he, Carson?
It has been, and I mean, it's not just the entire tournament. It seems like every set is its own little mini roller coaster. So even the tiebreak in the 5th set in this one, he was up 8-3, and then all of a sudden it was 9-8. And he's got one chance to put the match away. He ends up doing it, another one of these. He's one of these players. It's not just at Wimbledon. Like, he's done this at the U.S. Open as well. Many times just plays 5-setters and that feel like it's unnecessarily long relative to, obviously there's a match against Dan Evans that lasted about 3 weeks last year. I
always associate Khachanov and 5-setters at Wimbledon with that insane 5th set that you played against Sebi Korda a couple of years ago, where I think it was the 4th round, but they were neither of them could hold serve that entire 5th set. It was ludicrous. That's what I kind of associate with him automatically. So it's no surprise to me that he's kind of up to similar shenanigans. But he's the only seed left in his section, and he's looking potentially good for another Wimbledon quarterfinal, depending on how Kamil Machac performs, because he's now obviously solidified himself in the top 100 now. He's pretty much guaranteed himself. He's definitely guaranteed himself, according to live ranking, an automatic main draw place at the US Open. He's going to be on the main tour for a few months now, if not another year, getting those big points there, and we'll see if he can defend his place. But yeah, comes through marathon man Artur Rinderknecht, who was in his 5th consecutive day of playing. Didn't necessarily look like it because he tried to get as many sets as he could. 2 of those sets were tie breaks. He potentially could have maybe extended it, gone again, but maybe not enough in the tank for that. I don't know. I do think from the glimpses I got this match, I wasn't paying close attention. So if you were, Carson, please tell me if you read anything differently. I did feel like just watching how confidently Machac was holding serve, he kind of had this one covered.
This wasn't a match I was paying super close attention to throughout the day. But yeah, he was holding serve comfortably. Also not breaking very easily, as you can tell from the score lines either. So, 2 players that were just serving well, not creating a lot of break chances today. I was just looking at the live rankings, and Machac is up to 79. So, yeah, he should be in a really good place, considering he doesn't have many points to defend the rest of the year. Should be on a good place to qualify for the U.S. Open, possibly the Aussie Open as well already, because of a lack of points to defend. So it's good to see him back on tour after his suspension.
He's going to be definitely a force now on the main tour. Not a lot of points to defend. I think he's in a good place for that. And also, by the way, if anyone's interested, the US Open entry list will be decided by the rankings that come out on Monday. So Wimbledon's going to be pretty critical, as well as all the challenges that are happening next week. But going to this match with Khachanov that he's got ahead of him, you were saying, not necessarily returning easily. That's probably going to not stand him in good stead against Khachanov, who is a better returner. Okay, maybe not a better server. I don't know. I can't see anything obviously different, so please correct me. But I do think maybe Khachanov's experience in terms of rallies will probably win out, and he might win this one on the ground.
Yeah, I think as these rallies extend, I think Khachanov's going to have quite a bit of an advantage there. I think, yeah, I don't think he's going to be complaining about how this one has turned out for him. You could say he's also got a fairly open draw, depending on how you see his matchup with Taylor Fritz in a potential quarterfinal. So, yeah, it's a good matchup for him. Yeah, I think all of his experience he has making some deep runs in Grand Slams is going to be a major benefit to him.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, 100%. So there we go. Yeah, the experience is going to win out, and then that should, I guess, we'll see if that happens. But it would be sort of an intriguing quarterfinal with Taylor Fritz. I'll say that. All right, next section. Try and sort of rattle through these now. Right, let's talk about probably one of the most intense men's matches of the day. It didn't go 5 like Khachanov Borges, but oh my word, it got fiery at times between Jarry and Fonseca. There was a lot of big hitting, a lot of big serving, there was a lot of shouting, and the crowd were absolutely loving it. And Fonseca almost took it 5 sets, but fair play. Nico Jarry, other than one game, served incredibly that match. Carson, did you catch this?
He did very well today. I was a bit surprised. I mean, by his run overall, he hasn't been playing the greatest. So this has been a fantastic run to him, but he played so well. Yeah, I thought Fonseca was going to be able to out-hit him on the ground once points got going, and it just didn't really happen today. Like, Jarry was right there with him the entire match. So, yeah, even in the third set when he lost by a break, like, it's not like he was out of that one at any point. Like, it was still fairly tight. So, yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible match for him. Great serving from both of them. Fonseca, he'll probably feel like he should have been able to make it a 5-setter, and who knows from there how it would go. But yeah, crediting Nico Jarry for this win.
Yeah, credit to Jarry, I think. And I know you're saying about him being like maybe on the ground, not be able to hang with Fonseca. I think there were 2 things that maybe should have thrown some doubt on that in retrospect. One is Fonseca's still relatively new, and he does go for everything, but you know, his level, he hasn't unlocked the next level within him to keep that up. And there's also the fact that Jarry has managed to play a pretty intense match with Carlos Alcaraz a couple of years ago at Wimbledon. So I know that we weren't necessarily expecting this to be the Jarry from a couple of years ago, but he's looking like it now. Yeah, he's into the 4th round, which he'll be very happy about. We might not be so happy about was he have to deal with the British crowd next round, because he's playing Cameron Norrie, who beat Mattia Bellucci in straight sets. Carson, what was your read on that match?
To me, it felt like, I mean, Norrie, he's been playing well all tournament, but yeah, this match, he was just, one, the crowd was behind him, 2, just felt like he was a step ahead of Bellucci throughout this entire match. To me, it felt like Bellucci was just trying to play catch up in like the mental game of like where shots are going, where serves are going to go, and just felt like he was blindly reacting to things, especially in return games, rather than having a clear plan of how he wanted to attack Cam Norrie's game. And just, to me, didn't feel like he ever got anything implemented, and then Norrie was just able to, especially over the last couple of sets, just stay ahead of him, just not let him see anything that he didn't want. So I think it's a really good win for Cam.
Yeah, I do think Cam did what he did and make it a scrap, make it a fight, and Bellucci kind of fades over the course of that. But I think you make a really good point that I hadn't thought about, but you are absolutely spot on. Bellucci didn't have a plan, really, especially by the end of the match. So other than just go for it where he could go for it. So Norrie probably pretty happy that he got through that. And he's playing Jarry in the next round. And obviously, again, big result for the Brits, loving it. Brit in the fourth round. Norrie's made a semi-final before. What chance are you giving him against Jarry?
I mean, it's tough. Like Jarry, he's played a lot of tennis. Like he was in qualifying, so he's played a lot of tennis over the last week and a half now. He's also beaten some. I mean, he beat Holger Rune in the first round, so like that's a nice win. Also, like at what point does that many matches catch up to you a little bit against a player who might be a little bit more fresh and has the home crowd behind them? I mean, Norrie also has a win over Tiafoe, which like at Wimbledon, that's not a bad win at all either. Tiafoe had a nice win there last year, so yeah, I think Cam should feel pretty good about his chances in this one. I think he'll pull it out.
Especially since Norrie makes matches physical and he'll take that against an opponent who maybe doesn't have much in the tank. He's going to love it because he'll wear him down. Where I think Jarry might be able to help himself here is the serve. If he serves like he did in the last couple of matches, he's not going to have to play too many points. And I'm not an expert on Cam's return, but I don't think it's ranked up there with the very, very best. So if Jarry's firing serves, Norrie's going to have to be on his A game with his own serve in this one. So I may be more leaning towards Jarry based on that. But yeah, if he tires, if maybe his first serve percentage goes down because he's struggling to maintain it because he doesn't have a lot in the tank, Norrie's going to be all over it. So yeah, for me, that's what's going to be the deciding factor. You're right, is what's Jarry's energy levels going to be like? Is he going to do this? And if they're good, he wins. If they're not, Norrie wins.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I mean, it'll just come down where it's weird. It's like Jarry's the lower ranked player, but it does almost feel like it's more on his racket how the match is going to go. Serve will be huge, and then actually like putting a little bit of pressure on Cam when he's serving. And for Cam especially, I think it will be getting first serves in and not having to hit as many second serves. I mean, that's kind of generic advice for any tennis match, but I mean, for Cam, I think that second serve is a lot more attackable. Jarry's a decent returner, and I think that if he sees a lot of second serves, he'll have a better opportunity to put damage on them. Cam has been going bigger on second serves, though, a little bit more recently. It's been some matches I've seen him in Rome. I forget who he was playing with. There was a match I was watching, and there were some second serves that it was like the first time I've really seen him like just push some of them. Not quite like first serve speeds, but feel like he's been adding a little bit of speed to second serves recently, which could add a different element to that as well.
Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. Before we move on, let's backtrack a little bit because I've realised that we probably should talk about Fonseca a little bit more. Wimbledon debut. Would you say he acquitted himself pretty well, Carson?
I think so. Yeah, it's a third round in your debut. Not like easy opponents either. Jacob Permley, round one. Jensen Brooksby, then Nico Jarry. Like, this wasn't an easy draw for him. So I think third round is, for his debut, I think this is a fair result. Like, I don't think we should feel too badly about this. I don't think that there's anything for him to complain about in this.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's either or his fans. Like, maybe he maybe he's going to be disappointed he couldn't maybe take it further, get that comeback done. But I think it shows potential on the surface. I think he's going to come back stronger next year. And he's going to come back stronger next year. And maybe in future years as well. So he's going to be a real nightmare. I don't know how he managed to get his serve to kick so well on grass, but he does. When he's firing that forehand just flat through the court is going to be horrible for opponents to deal with. So does that consistently, he's going to be a tough draw for a while coming up at Wimbledon.
He is also just learning how to play on grass now. For him, it's been mostly play in hard courts throughout his career. He hasn't played on grass quite as much. That it's a very different service, different learning curve. The movement especially is quite different. So I think, he's 18 years old. So it's on one hand, very exciting. And also I do kind of just want to give him some time and space to develop and become a well-rounded player that I think has top 5 potential and Grand Slam potential.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I don't think anyone's arguing with that. Let's round things off, shall we? Andrei Rublev beat Andrea Manarino in straight sets. Quietly getting on with things, Andrei. Live ranked. I think he's 9th or 10th live ranking now. Those points that he got from that title early in the year helped. I think Andrei's kind of showing he's still in the mix, and this will be a very nice sort of solid. It's a nice sort of solid slam run to the second week, and nobody's really getting excited about him. But we've seen from sort of I think Mario tweeted this out. I think he's got to the second week of slams an insane amount of times, and for a guy who where we're worried about his level compared to where it used to be, he seemed kind of back on track now.
Yeah, I think we're starting to maybe see a little bit of the result of his new coaching setup with Murat Safin. Sure, that's helping a little bit, but yeah, he made a nice run at Roland Garros, and then don't think many people are talking about him or his chances. We'll get to this in a moment, but probably has more to do with who he has to play next than his specific level. He's been playing well, though, this week. This was a pretty straightforward match for him against Manarino. Rublev kind of just out-hit him throughout the day, which in a matchup of these two, probably what you would expect. Manarino's not the biggest hitter on tour at all. So good win for Rublev. He's kind of comfortably moved here into the 4th round. Been in a really nice run for him so far.
Yeah, really nice run for him. I think he'll feel pretty good about the points he's picked up from here. The reason why we're kind of going, pretty good job, Rublev, is because we think his run's going to come to an end because he's playing Carlos Alcaraz, who did not make things straightforward for himself. Although, I will say that Struff did well in that match to make it a contest, particularly in the 2nd and 4th sets. Maybe Carlos shouldn't have dropped that 2nd set, but I think there were points where he was having some great rallies with Struff, and he had a big grin on his face, like, this is why I play tennis. I'm having so much fun. So I guess it's the thing. It's like Carlos may not do things efficiently, but if he's having a good time, that's when he locks in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2nd set. Struff played incredibly, and then 4th set, really tight. It was 4-4, and then Struff had a volley where he was standing about 1 yard away from the net and put it right into the net. So really tough point there, and from there, kind of kind of just felt like Carlos was going to walk away with it. He did. So, yeah, he'll probably be thinking about that shot, Striffwell, as he goes to bed tonight. Well, probably asleep by now at this point, but yeah, tough point for him there. And then, yeah, Carlos just finished off the match kind of straightforward in the last couple of games.
I don't think he'll be thinking too much about it, though, because obviously there's an offer ifs and buts, and like it did feel like towards the end of that fourth set there was a strong possibility that match was going to go 5, which if it did, then Sabalenka and Raducanu would have literally just finished. Again, if you're just joining us, we did our review of that result right at the beginning of the stream, so you can go back and watch that. But if you want to sort of stick with us and kind of follow us here, but yeah, but yeah, I think Alcaraz still kind of had it. I think he would have still won it in 5. He's very difficult to beat on grass at the moment. He's lost 1 match in 2 years. He's not lost a match at Wimbledon since 2022. It's a sinner of all people. So, yeah, I think Carlos Alcaraz was always going to make it. It's just whether he goes the short way round or the long way round. And Carlos just seems to like the scenic route. Do you see him taking the scenic route against Andrei Rublev?
Probably. No,
Will that be caused by Rublev making his life hard, or would it be caused by Alcaraz having a brain fade?
It will make his life more difficult than it needs to be, maybe. Maybe Rublev picks up a set. I don't think these two have played on grass before.
No, I don't think they have.
Yeah, they played. So they played twice in the ATP finals. And then Carlos won both of those matches. And then it was Madrid last year where Rublev won that one. So, I mean, maybe an interesting side note that Carlos has only beaten Rublev at the ATP finals. I'm not sure how much that has an effect in this one, but yeah, I think over a best of 5. I think Carlos will pull this one out, but yeah, I mean, Rublev, I think he's definitely good enough to take a set here and make it a little bit interesting, at least.
I think so too. I think we saw it. He took a set against Djokovic a couple of years ago. He can make it interesting, can make it exciting against the best players on grass. I think it's interesting that you've put that forward. There's examples forward, like from their previous head-to-heads, because when we think about the scenarios where, well, Rublev beating Alcaraz at Madrid, Alcaraz was injured because he then didn't go play Rome. So he wasn't himself that Madrid. So that opened things up for a player with the level of Rublev to exploit that. But for Alcaraz to have beaten Rublev in what are conditions that he does not like at all, indoor hard, super fast court in Turin, that tells you something that Alcaraz is relatively comfortable with his matchup. To put it on grass with an on a surface that Alcaraz absolutely loves, probably I would dare to say as much as, if not more than, clay. And you've got a scenario where I think Rublev's going to find it very hard to keep up with him. It just depends on how Alcaraz can keep focus. So yeah, I agree with you. Rublev takes a set, but it's going to depend on whether Alcaraz loses focus or not. So yeah, I think we're on the same page with a lot of these results. I think, Carson.
We are not quite as much controversial commentary for John to post later, but
no, not a lot. No, you would have had to put me on with Zach, I think, for that. But anyway, so I think before we wrap up, let's do a very quick look forward to tomorrow. Obviously, we've got some previews and predictions for some of the bigger matches that are happening tomorrow. But I want to ask you, Carson, what are the matches happening tomorrow that you are most excited about?
Great question. Let me look at the draws again quickly.
Look at the
I mean, men's side, I think Kabali and Menchik could be interesting. I'm not sure I have a great feel for that match at all. And who can come out on that one? Seems like it's two players who have been doing pretty well on. Kabali's been doing pretty well the past couple of months. Decent grass court season. Menchik obviously a title in Miami, and then went on clay courts, which not his favorite surface. So it's been a little more quiet lately, but I think getting back on grass is good for him here. And then this is maybe a little, WTA. There's a few matches that are interesting. I think
so many.
Yeah, Samsonova Kazatkina is interesting. Bencic and Cocciaretto. And then, Krejcikova plays Emma Navarro, which that's another one. I'm just not sure how I feel about that one. Like, either one could win that, and I wouldn't be shocked by that.
I'm in the same position. I think that's the hardest one to call. Well, maybe not the hardest one to call. I think that's the one where you've got like two players with potential to do something this tournament going head to head. Or kind of very similar potential levels, I will say, where they're both high. You've got Krejcikova, who's the defending champion, and seems to be getting a run together on grass. If you include those two matches she played at Eastbourne, which she won. She obviously didn't play the quarterfinals; she withdrew. And then you've got Navarro, who's made the quarterfinals of 2 grass court events this season, and has beaten Veronika Kudermetova, who was decided the champion the last 2 years at Wimbledon. So, I agree with you that one has a lot of potential. There's a section on the WTA draw, though, that I think we need to have a look at, which is this one here, because we have been hyping up a Swiatek Rybakina potential 4th round, and I am not that confident. Like, I think it's the most likely outcome, but not by much, because I could imagine a scenario where whoever's doing last ball drops tomorrow is going to be sat here going, so Danielle Collins versus Clara Towson?
Yes. That could definitely happen. It's Swiatek. This may be a good chance for her to have a nice run at Wimbledon that she hasn't had before, but I mean, Collins is another big, heavy hitter, and I mean, on grass courts, that's always dangerous. And then, I mean, that other match, Towson and Rybakina, just going to be some thunderbolts all over the court on that one.
Yeah, I think and Collins is going to be motivated because that matchup with Iga is spicy in general. I think if it was any other court, I'd be more confident about saying Swiatek winning that one. I'm still pretty confident about Swiatek winning this one. I think it's her turn to win a match in this rivalry. But Collins is the kind of player who she doesn't want to play on this surface. And then with the other one, I think Rybakina should beat Towson, but if she drops in any kind of consistency, Towson's going to be all over it, as she was against Kalinskaya. So I do think Rybakina's not going to have that one easy at all. I
mean, the race rankings, Towson is 13th in the race. Rybakina is 8th. So Towson's been playing above her rank so far this year, which, I mean, that's exactly what you want. But this is a pretty high-level matchup.
She's now on track to break top 20 in the regular rankings now for the first time in her career, unsurprisingly. Solid performance on grass so far this season. I think that section is just like, oh my word. I think Towson Rybakina is going to be like first on tomorrow. They put it on court 2, which baffles me. But I did have a look because they put Swiatek Collins on centre, Krejcikova Navarro on court 1 and Rybakina on court 2. yeah, we'll see how it goes with that one. But yeah, I'm excited for all those kind of WTA matchups. Even Andrea Baptiste has some potential as well to be interesting. Baptiste likes to mix things up a bit. Also, like the shout out you gave to Bencic Cocciaretto, because that one's going to be better fun. Heck, even Bujas Monero and Yastremska, I think, has a potential to be interesting as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun matchups, and we've mostly been talking about the women's draw here, but I mean, some fun ones on the men's side as well. Dimitrov and Offner playing tomorrow.
Ooh,
that's just interesting. And then, I mean, Marin Cilic back here into the third round. He'll play Munar next. Like, 2 unseeded players, but that one could be a lot of fun to watch, I think.
Yeah, especially since Cilic is going to want to kick on and try and get some more points together. He's definitely solidifying himself back in the top 100. But I think beating Draper is going to give him a lot of confidence on this surface. Yeah, I think there's some matches with a lot of potential on here. And then we're also going to have Jannik Sinner and Novak Djokovic probably cruising through like they usually do. So, yeah, lots of matches to look forward to tomorrow. And I reckon that the last ball drops team who do it tomorrow, and I can't confirm it yet because I don't have the information in front of me, they're probably going to start with the WTA again, like we did on this stream. All right, I think that just about wraps it up. Kartal, is there anything else you think we need to make sure we cover here?
I think we covered a lot. Should be a lot of good tennis tomorrow as well, and heading into the first weekend here. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, well, I'm going to get some sleep. You should probably get some sleep too, because you'll have an early start to try and catch all these matches. Do not envy you and your sort of time zone of having to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. to catch the tennis.
Yeah, it's pretty in the morning. But
all right, well, there we go, everybody. That's it. Now, if you are new, please hit subscribe. If you want to become a member, which we did find out earlier today that we had a new member, NMBP. So shout out to you if you've been watching. Yeah, we've got live streams happening tomorrow. I believe we are covering the Swiatek match tomorrow with Collins, which is going to be exciting, plus a few others. And there will be a last ball drops tomorrow to mop up all the action of what I am sure is going to be a great day at Wimbledon. You don't want to miss it. And hopefully you are going to enjoy the thoughts of everyone involved. So yeah, give this video a like, help people find it to hear all the wrap-ups. And yeah, we will we'll wrap it up there. Ghosty, always good to see you, as it is with Marcus and Nerlan and Sports Politics and Ashley, who's literally just showed up at Millhouse as well. So thanks everyone for joining. I'll see you another time. But until then, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.